seeing what the other gripe was.
This is WSIC.
I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. It is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
WSIC. News, talk, now. The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome to Community Centered, a show that features people in the community doing good things. Now, here are your hosts, Debbie O'Handley and Margi Kyle.
Welcome, welcome. Hi, Margie. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Community Centered. How is your community and how are you centered today, Margie?
I'm not centered at all.
Me either.
I feel like I'm on an axle that's...
Yeah. You know what? I think it was the combo of the solar eclipse, Mercury in retrograde, just the general rectal temperature of our community and our world. People are a little vibrating, but we did survive the solar eclipse.
We did.
We did.
I watched it on TV and it was fascinating.
We participated in our neighborhood. We had a neighbor who had some welding glass that looked like stained glass pieces.
Okay.
So we were able to look at it through there. And it was an interesting experience, sort of like the Y2K, right? The world did not end. Jesus did not come. And kind of going through that, it was a little bit eerie.
Yes.
And it felt a little bit out of control, but people were making such predictions. It was like, stay off the road because people will be driving, they'll be looking up, so you're more likely to have an accident.
I just
stay away
stayed
from
home
people
for that hour.
Yeah, it's 4.8. The earthquake was 4.8. It just the predictions, and it was just like, couldn't everybody just be still
No.
and enjoy the moment? So it was intense, for sure. But I'm glad you watched it on TV because you probably got the edited version.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And the
it was
time
good.
lapse.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did not get too dark here. It was interesting. It got gray, like a storm was coming, but the sun still looked out. So some of our outdoor lights in our community went on.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of dogs started barking. But other than that, it really was, it just was like another day in paradise.
Yeah.
So I think that's why everybody feels so, the energy level.
It just zapped you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of strange. So rain today, rain, go away. Except
Well, at least my car's clean.
mine too. And
I went to give myself a car wash the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and the hose flipped around. Just
Shot on you.
Oh my God!
Oh,
I was
Margie.
absolutely drenched, and I thought, "You stupid old woman."
Never would we say that. Well, I'm happy to see the rain for one good reason. On Friday at Hope House, we had the Mecklenburg County Board of Health come and plant an edible landscape for us.
Wonderful. My son wanted to do that
So
for you.
yeah, so we have 24 blueberry bushes. We have 6 fig trees. We have 4 10-foot garden boxes. We have goji berry bushes,
Oh, good.
elderberry bushes,
Okay.
mulberry bushes. I thought only you go around the mulberry bush. I didn't know what they are. So it was really a cool project. And after it all got finished and they left, I was like,
Now
who's
what do I
going to
do?
take care of all of this? So actually, we have a 12-year-old at Hope House now who told me he wanted the responsibility.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, of taking care of it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do it without a resume and a letter. And you tell me why I should choose you and give you this responsibility. Something I don't think we do a whole lot of these days. This kid wrote me a letter that after the first sentence had me sold, obviously because he took the initiative to do it. So now I have a little mini gardener who said, I will take this job seriously and do my best every day.
Oh,
So
I'd hire him just with that sentence.
absolutely. So he
Yeah.
now promises, but so now we don't have to water today with the rain.
Good,
So
yeah.
thank goodness for that. And I know while they're in their planting stage, they need a whole lot of water. So establishing some good roots
Good.
is important.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else is going on?
Well, Saturday I went to Bailey's Glen.
Okay.
They had their pottery
I
sale
wanted to do that.
of the mudslingers,
Yes.
and that was fabulous.
Now they sold plants too, right?
And then they had their greenhouse nursery gals and guys selling the plants out there too. Beautiful pricing,
Do they-
beautiful plants.
Do they have a greenhouse there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
But they are such an active community.
Mm.
I went on their website and there was a picture of me with Kathy McCartney. 2017, they were bringing toys and blankets for Little Smiles.
Oh, how wonderful.
So they're just such a good giving community
They
back
really are.
to the people that need it the most.
That's
So it
awesome.
was fun. It was a beautiful sale.
I've often seen that advertised and I want to go, but somehow a Saturday always seems like.
Oh, their Christmas party is unbelievable too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, put me on the circuit for that, Margie.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
wanting to.
because you can do a lot of Christmas shopping right there.
Really? Is
Uh-huh.
it crafts and things?
All sorts of different things. Jewelry, crafts.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll note to self. I will remember that for sure. There's so many great things happening in our
Oh.
community, isn't there?
I know everybody's feeling a little disjointed now, but
Mm.
when I went last night to Men That Cook,
Mm-hmm.
Happy Hour Rotary, it just makes you appreciate what this community is doing for people in need.
I think something that gets lost in all of this is the realization that you and I are members of this community. Not only do we lead a non-for-profit, but we're also a member.
That's right.
And, it's not always just about Little Smiles or always just about Hope House Foundation. It's about our community.
Yeah.
And so when we get the opportunity to gather at these kind of events and we see the amount of support and the amount of education and the amount of togetherness
Yeah,
that
it's
these things
amazing.
create, it feels really good for me, aside from Hope House, but to be a member of the community and a community that cares.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that's the message that we need to keep putting out there, that this is there's a lot of stuff going on right now in our world, but we are a community that cares and we are a community that comes together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's, if you're not involved in a non-for-profit or an organization, a civic organization like Rotary or Elks or Kiwanis, you need to find your happy place
Yeah, you do.
and go serve in these kind
Yeah.
of places, because the give back that they give to our community
Is
is
what
incredible.
keeps you going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited about our guest today. He was a participant in the Lake Norman That Cook. He is a chef now. We will
I
call
was
him
very
that.
glad to sit next to him yesterday because we needed a guest today.
Yes, we had. So we had some from the Board of Health that was going to be coming, and unfortunately, when you work with these bigger organizations, you have to jump through all kinds of hoops for media. And so he realized he didn't get all the right
Yeah,
permissions
that's right,
and
yeah.
check all the boxes for such a media announcement like this. So I just blabbed with my mouth because nobody holds me accountable. But he will come back someday. And there were actually a few in his group that volunteered that want a chance on the show too.
Oh,
so
good.
I think we'll have some exciting guests coming up here. But
And we should let our viewers know, if you want to be guests on our show, please just let Bill know or let Debbie or me know.
you can always call 844-STUDIO-4. Margie and I had said to each other, well, we can just talk to each other. People
It's
might
a novel idea.
people might not appreciate the things that we have to say, but we can always, if push comes to shove, go through that kind of thing. So when we come back, we'll be introducing our guest, John O'Brien, and we'll have a great conversation with him about the Lake Norman Men That Cook.
Yep.
When we come back.
Sounds great.
So stay tuned, folks. You don't want to miss it.
More informative discussion about people and groups doing good in our community coming up. It's Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on WSIC.
Well, the rest of our week is a bit unsettled in the weather department with a couple opportunities for rain. We'll see a partly cloudy to mostly cloudy sky as we work our way through our Tuesday. I would carry along the umbrella just in case. A scattered shower possible really at any point throughout the day, especially in the morning and through the better part of the afternoon. Temperatures are still relatively warm in the low 70s. We'll bring back another chance for scattered showers again by Wednesday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Nina's Boutique.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Friday, come enjoy Birkdale Village's weekly Live Under the Oaks concert series. Musician Joseph Gallo delivers catchy tunes, high vocals, and a driving rhythm to sing and dance along. Bring your lawn chairs and enjoy all Birkdale Village has to offer. Music powered by Waves Entertainment begins at 6 p.m. The Kane Center for the Arts presents music, singing, laughs, and dogs. Thursday, see singer and guitarist Joni Shaw Taylor performing. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show begins at 8 p.m. Friday, 80s music icon John Oates is in concert. Doors open at 7 p.m. with the show beginning at 8 p.m. On Saturday, comedian Jeff Allen delivers laughs twice with shows at 4 p.m. and then again at 8 p.m. Saturday, April 20th, we'll see the Stunt Dog Experience come to Cornelius. This cast of performers and stunt dogs will delight audiences of all ages with high energy excitement from beginning to end. You will witness some of the most incredible stunts and behaviors ever performed by dogs. The experience has amazing tricks, big air stunts, frisbee dogs, athletic feats, and is the most entertaining show of its kind. For more information on these shows and many other programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Merle Fest is back April 25th through 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen every morning to Good Morning LKN and follow WSIC News on Instagram for your chance to win tickets. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Call now to speak with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle at 844-STUDIO-4. It's community-centered on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. You know, we say this every single time that our commercial breaks are some of the most heartiest conversations we have. So we just have to update our listeners, because if you've been listening to Margi talk about her bird, her lovebird, that was really not very lovable. And so Margi, you found a solution for the bird.
I did.
Tell our listeners what happened.
Well, I've always had birds since I was little, and I loved the singing, and this one was supposed to be hand raised. I put my hand in there and he bit me, and I thought, no, he's not hand raised. And I had a long talk to the person I bought him through, and he kept telling me what to do. And the screeching, I was teaching at Emory College the other night through Zoom. I had to literally take a break, put him out on the porch, and shut the doors.
Wow.
Because all you could hear was his screeching.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, would you want to be living in that cage?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought, so I called Petco or PetSmart. I'm not sure which one. And they gave me a name of a lady. They gave me two names. One in Concord that would take him and try to foster him out and place him in a home that was appropriate for him. And she just made me feel so good.
Aw.
And then as soon as I got home, I texted her and I said, how's he doing? And I was feeling very guilty.
I bet.
And she said, he's in the big room where all the birds are having a blast.
Oh, okay.
So I knew I had done the best thing for him and for me too.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like that bird needed his community too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when I can't talk on the phone because he's screeching.
Well, you think about it. He's a lovebird. The single life was not for him. He was ready to go out there and find some bird friends.
Yeah, yeah.
So good for him and good for you.
Yeah.
Now, I know our guests can talk about a certain bird. Are they a bird? Chicken's a bird? I don't know. On that one. So John O'Brien, who is with O'Brien Home Loans, has chickens.
I do. Yeah.
Oh,
he has
my.
chickens on his property. Free-range chickens.
For the most part, we keep them in the pen and eggs. We have some foxes that run around. So I just want to make sure they're safe. So I built an extra large coop for them to run. So and I moved around and stuff like that. But
Talk about squawking.
it's, yeah. So luckily they're about a couple hundred feet from the house. So, but you mentioned that it's kind of ironic. We did have 2 roosters and 4 hens as of December. Right now we only have the 4 hens because the 2 roosters, they just had a problem with 5 a.m. wake up calls, and the neighbors weren't exactly
Weren't happy.
fond of that.
No.
So
Maybe,
so
maybe I missed the memo, but do you need a rooster and a hen to make an egg, or can
no,
she can?
they'll protect the hens, which is nice. So like they will protect them. But yeah, ultimately you only need them if you wanted to hatch and
So
have more
you have
chickens.
all ladies in the house.
We do. So we get right now that each one lays 1 egg a day. So we're having 4 eggs a day. Makes a lot of eggs. So we give a lot of ways to friends and family and stuff. So
Very cool.
and so I've had a lot of people say, "Wait, you don't wash them or anything like that?" Because you don't have to.
Yep.
Once you wash them, you have to put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
But if you don't wash them, you can leave them out on your counter for months, and they'll be fine almost until you
Well, I
wash
didn't
them.
know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of you can
You know
just
why?
kind of
Because
shove
we
'em.
always buy the Harris Teeter eggs, right? So, wow,
So, yeah.
that's good to know, John. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
definitely
bet
get
it's
different
kind of fun
taste.
for your kids too.
Oh, my daughter loves them. I'll have to show you some of the videos where she's chasing one and just yelling, "Come back, Chickie, come back!"
Aw.
So it's a good way for her to get some energy out too.
Is it a
Yeah.
lot of work?
Not really. Like I said, I have it's like a 70-gallon thing that holds their feed, and then a 5-gallon water pail. So the feed will last 2, 3 weeks sometimes even, because we'll throw all of our scraps in there too. They love that. And then just the water, I'll just make sure once a week to kind of replenish it and replace it. So besides that,
You know,
it's
there
pretty.
is a difference between an egg like that and then an egg you get from the
Oh,
grocery
The taste
store.
is
The
absolutely.
color
amazingly
and the
different.
Yeah.
taste is different. Now, I did actually hear recently that there is going to be an egg shortage and a chicken shortage because of the avian flu is back again, and something with beef. I think there's going to be some beef issues as well in this lovely
If
economy.
you ever need some eggs, we have plenty. So
Yeah, so but I think that's awesome that you are kind of, your girls with the knowledge of how to do that.
Yeah.
We did have someone one time who wanted to donate a chicken coop to the Hope House, and I thought, just like I did about the garden, I'm excited about that. But the thought of foxes and all of those other things.
Yes. Yeah.
We one time had a bird that died out by the swing set, and its little claws were, sort of rounded in, and my kids gathered round in a circle, and they said a prayer, and they cried. They started sobbing over this bird, and then one looked down and said, "Miss Debbie, he's throwing us gangster signs." And it was his claws that were bent over, and I said, "Oh, there's so much to learn and so much to do." So that sounds like a lot of work, but good for you.
yeah, no, they'll kind of more run from you. So my daughter wants to hold them, so they're not really.
Yeah, they're not cuddly.
Yeah, no, my brother actually has some, and his daughter held them for a long because she's older, so they actually will allow her to hold her chickens. But
Aw.
my daughter was too young at that time to really
Yeah,
hold them, so
yeah.
they didn't really get used to that. But hopefully, we're gonna try to expand here soon and maybe get a few more in there. But we'll see.
Very
So
cool. I think that's an interesting thing I'm just learning about you, Mr.
yeah,
John O'Brien, who is the Lake Norman Men That Cook chef and John O'Brien Home Loans. And another little fact about John, we had an issue at Hope House where some of our sheetrock needed replacing in a bathroom that had gotten a little wet, and I can do that. I can do that. I'm like, you can? So we just sawed the wall down and repaired it, and then we wallpapered over it, and you never know.
Yeah.
So you are a multi-talented.
so you just kind of learn things throughout life. So it's always
Yeah.
easier to do it yourself than kind of depend on someone else sometimes. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell us about Lake Norman Men That Cook, and then tell us
Yeah.
about Rotary too.
absolutely. So I actually just joined Rotary this year. Actually found it through a bourbon tasting that they held for raising money for local charities and stuff like that. So I ended up talking to the president and realizing what Rotary was and how it impacts the community. And I went to one of their meetings and found out like this is something I want to be part of. It's not only it's a social group, so you can actually just hang out once a week, but also you're making an impact on the community. And they just so happened to be planning for the Lake Norman Men That Cook that just happened back on April 5th. I'm sorry, April 5th. So, and basically it's their 5th year, I believe, of doing it. We have 15 teams this past year, and it's men that cook. We had certain categories. We had a barbecue, a vegetarian, a dessert, chili, and just an other type of food. So there's 3 of each category, and it's men that'll literally come not competitive cook, but they will just cook. I mean, we're not professional chefs by any means, but we just enjoy it to serve, and it helps to raise money for the local
It was
charities.
such a fun event.
I thought it was awesome
I
venue.
did too. It was the
How
first time I had been, and I loved it.
how many did they tell you to prepare to feed?
They said they'd had 500 last year, so I kind of was like, oh boy, I'm gonna have to go because I was doing barbecue. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a lot of meat. So I ended up cooking around 100 pounds of pork butts. So it was a lot of meat. I'll have to show you some of those pictures, but my smoker was full to the stacks, smoked it all the night, and I think it turned out really well though.
Oh, yeah, it was delicious.
And for those listeners who don't know what it means to smoke a piece of meat, it has to be slow, very slow.
Yeah.
And my husband has a smoker, and it's such a process and a patience.
It's methodical because I use charcoal. So a lot of people nowadays will have the digital ones or the pellets where you can set it and it just holds the temperature for you. Where
Yeah.
you have charcoal, it's a little bit of a fine tuning to kind of keep the temperature. Because like you said, you want to keep it low. If you go too high, you're going to cook it too quick and it just won't be as tender and just juicy. It'll dry out. So I was checking on it every about 2 to 3 hours throughout the night, and just replacing either charcoal or the hickory chips or whatever I use to smoke it. But it was very fascinating.
Yeah.
So
Now,
you
do
still
you have
got
a
some
secret
sleep.
recipe?
I mean, I do make my own rub now, so it's nothing crazy, but it's just something that I've kind of been playing with and tinkering with. Like I said, by no means am I professional, but you learn some things here and there and figure out what you like.
Sure.
Obviously, I like mine a little bit on the saltier side sometimes, so I add that and different things. But yeah, it's I
Lots
think
of
I had some very
garlic.
good feedback. I actually didn't have any garlic in
Oh,
mine,
didn't
so
you?
no. So it was it turned out I think pretty good though.
Ah,
It was very tasty, and having a husband that likes to smoke things, I saw the smoke ring, so I know that's something that I felt like I was like professional going back. Nice smoke ring, John. But,
Thank you.
even though I don't know what I'm talking about, but it was very, very good, and we're at Hope House very grateful for your contributions to making that happen. I personally think you should have won the whole thing, but then again, there's my friends like Margie who. What did your chef do?
vegetarian.
Of the opposite end of the
Yeah.
spectrum.
So,
He did a
well,
vegetarian
Corn.
dish, which is that's the kind of the cool thing. There's a variety of things.
Yeah.
Although this year there was a lot of chili
Yep.
and different kinds of chili.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to get around and taste all the food, unfortunately. So y'all have to tell me about everything else. I kind of was just doing the barbecue all day and so serving that. But I heard the food was good. I heard my wife loved the corn. Actually, she did mention
Oh,
that.
good.
So
Yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah.
the desserts were
They
fabulous.
were. They
was it
were.
the Nutty Buddy
There was
pie
a
or
peanut butter
something?
pie
Yeah.
or something that was just out of this world, and then
Yes, they
lemon
were
bar or something.
delicious.
They were very, very good too. And a few folks at my table who will remain nameless started with dessert. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but it is really a wonderful community event that brings lots of different people together, lots of different non-for-profits. I don't think it focuses so much on the non-for-profit as it does the food, which is fine. As long as it's bringing people together for good causes,
Yeah.
that's really all that matters.
Well, and last night was amazing because everybody got their checks.
Yeah, and so I mean, altogether, 15
Yeah.
charities, we raised a little over $19,000 to be able to donate, and it's
Yeah.
all stays here in our local
Mhm,
community.
That's right.
So it goes back to your neighbors and your friends and stuff like that too, which is the ones
Yeah.
in need here. So I thought that was really good, and obviously next year we want to get the word out even more and hopefully double that or triple that even. So
Yeah.
I'll probably end up cooking again next year unless I can do something.
And
So
I have a fabulous idea for a celebrity guest. I think that you should have Chef Tim on to do your judging.
I do too.
he's
And
been
he
a
has
guest.
offered to do that.
Yeah, he's been a Margie and I's guest before, Tim Schaefer. He's a
Yeah.
fabulous individual. He's very philanthropic in our community, gives back to a lot of our
He does.
non-for-profits as well, and he is a very experienced chef.
make me a little nervous doing it now.
Oh,
So
no, I think you would appreciate them. He cooks with a lot of hops. So
Okay.
you might really
Oh.
appreciate what he
Yeah.
brings to the
Yeah.
table. So when we come back, we're talking with John O'Brien with O'Brien Home Loans, and it's Miss Margie and Debbie on this rainy Tuesday day.
There's more Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, rain tapering off as we head through the rest of the evening. We'll stay mainly dry, even though it will still be a bit damp and cool with a mostly cloudy sky for the rest of our evening. Overnight low temperatures don't really get all that chilly, comfortably cool as we drop into the mid and upper 50s by early Wednesday morning. A couple of scattered showers could remain for our Wednesday High temperatures will bump up into the mid-70s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
We used to argue about whose turn it was to clean the gutters, but then I had leaf filter gutter protection installed.
Wait, I told you Leaf Filter had free inspections and estimates and a lifetime guarantee.
Meaning we never have to argue about whose turn it is to clean the gutters again.
But I visited leaffilter.com/beacon first.
No, I did.
It doesn't matter who. Visit leaffilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
I feel occasional burning and stabbing in my hands as I age.
I sometimes feel numbness and tingling in my feet as I get older.
It's starting to get in the way of doing what I love.
At Nervive, we hear you, and we can help. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use.
Now that I know, I'm taking control.
Try Nervive Nerve Relief and say yes to healthy nerves. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
This is Fred Lowry at Lowry Drug. We now have our own brand of full-spectrum hemp extract, also known as CBD oil. I personally manage this product as it was grown on my farm here in Iredell County. It was then processed and bottled here in Statesville. This is a true herbal extract with all the medicinal components intact. A product you can trust to be authentic. And since there is no wholesaler, it's at a price you can afford. Try it at Lowry Drug on Hartness Road in Statesville.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Join your friends from Oswald Baptist Church in Troutman, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on WSIC. Be informed and inspired with teachings from the Word of God by Pastor Wesley Morris. Sunday mornings at 8:30 on WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. More alarming news today from Boeing. The FAA is investigating a whistleblower complaint from a Boeing engineer who worked on the massive 787 Dreamliner. He alleges shortcuts were taken on sections of the fuselage, meaning they may have been improperly fastened together and could weaken over time. And this comes after Boeing delivered just 83 jets in the first quarter of the year. That's the fewest in 3 years. On safety and quality control issues with the troubled 737 MAX jet. Shares of Boeing down 2%, while elsewhere on Wall Street, stocks are lower on small business owner optimism last month, falling to an 11-year low, and some worries about tomorrow's report on consumer inflation and what it means for the Fed. Right now, the Dow down about 0.5%, the S&P down 1/3%, the Nasdaq down 1/4%. And because vitamin maker Nature Made is now the official vitamin of USA Pickleball, it's out with new pickle-flavored multivitamin gummies. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Now, more community-centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back. I'm here with Debbie O'Hanley and John O'Brien, and we're talking about the event, Men That Cook, and it was just such an excellent event.
It was.
But it could use some more fine-tuning.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully next year we'll make it
And
a
I
little
hope,
better.
and I
I'll
would
look
love
back.
to see the people double because it's such a fun day. It really is. And you get to go around and taste all this food and then vote and win prizes. And
Yeah, we had a cooler full of cheer, which was I was hoping to win that one,
I
but
was
didn't.
too.
So
My husband
and
won it last year.
it was
I'm
it was
still hearing about it.
it was a nice little. There were some nice bourbons in there that I would like to add to the collection and stuff. But yeah, no, it was an awesome event all day
Yeah.
round. But I think, like I said, next year hopefully we can, like I said, just triple it, quadruple, whatever we can, because
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
great fun event that really just gives back to the community. That's what it's really all at the end of the day, what we want to do.
And that's what Rotary
so,
is all.
yeah.
I'll never forget my father was president of Rotary in Michigan, and he said to me, "When they let women in, and they will, you have to join."
Yeah.
He said it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. He loved it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of give back to the community, you're a great supporter, John. I know of Hope House and of Little Smiles. I know that how I met you was you had called and contacted me and said, "Hey, we want to do this cornhole tournament. We've got this idea, and we want to, help support Hope House and Little Smiles." You said, what can we do? So you literally put this cornhole tournament together at Primal Brewery in Huntersville. It was again a great day where it was just people in the community coming out, having a beer,
Yeah.
enjoying a smile. We hope that this year in October, the great month of celebrating beer, that we can expand that to be a really, really big deal where folks can come and bring a new toy for Margie's Closet
Yeah.
for children. So that we can put more smiles on kids' faces and just bring more
We
awareness.
used to have our cornhole tournament at Big Al's,
Yep.
and it was fun.
Primal has a great space. They some people play pickleball out there.
Yeah, they have an event almost every night. They do a pickleball. They even have the disc golf. They have a little puttery thing around the parking lot that they
Oh,
do.
neat.
We do cornhole on Wednesday nights. So they redid their garage. So if you haven't been there, even on rainy days now, they have that wide open area of the garage where they have TVs and a pool table and dartboards there.
Okay.
But let me warn you about these cornholers, Margie. They are some serious cornholers.
Oh, I know, because I've witnessed them.
I want to talk to everybody. And so when I tried to talk to them in the middle of their throws, I was about thrown down because they don't want to talk to you. They're very intense and it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the tournaments, like they can get
Yeah.
very competitive. I prefer to kind of do more of the social aspect
Yeah.
where, like I said, I'll be your average good backyard player, but against some of these players, it's like you just don't have a chance. And sometimes it does take the fun out of it, but keeping it social and fun is where I think the game needs
The
to.
other thing
Yeah.
that was curious was they came from far away.
Yeah, some people drove over an hour.
They drove a
I
while
know.
to come to this, which
We
was
had
really
some professional. I didn't know you could be a professional cornholer.
okay,
And when I used to throw a baseball, it would go behind me.
right?
I don't know
thought,
if you
I'm
knew,
not
but
doing this
they're
one.
actually giving scholarships for cornhole now.
Oh my gosh.
To college?
Wofford was one of the first schools for a D1 to give cornhole scholarships to high schoolers out of Colorado
Oh, now that's
because
unreal.
Rock Hill is the cornhole capital. So
It really.
for like the ACL, yeah.
You learn something new. I have learned about the chicken and the hen today, and now I've learned about a cornhole scholarship.
Yeah.
Life is good.
It's
Yeah,
on
we have
ESPN.
nothing to
You
complain
made
about.
it if you're on ESPN all the time. So
Wow, very, very cool.
it's kind of taken the country by storm with how fast it's grown. And same thing with pickleball. I feel like
Oh, that is
it's-
just going crazy.
Yeah, pickleball's taken over the world.
It is.
And shout out to our friends Robin and Jack
Yeah.
Salzman with opening up Serve, their kitchen and restaurant and pickleball courts that are going to be opening soon, probably January of 2025. We are super excited for them because it's going to be a great idea.
Yeah.
Like you said, pickleball is taking over
is.
the
I
world.
I haven't played it yet, but I have a lot of people that first they said, no, I'll never play. And now they're like the pros.
Oh my gosh.
I
yeah.
actually saw some young people in our neighborhood playing it on Sunday, and it was the girls against the boys, men against the women. And I was like, wow, it's even taken on the younger people are.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, it used to be that it was like an older person, right? Like, oh, my knee's bummed out or my elbow this or whatever.
And my
but
grandkids love it.
yeah, so I think it's kind of cool how that's happened. And now scholarship.
Yeah, that's where I got my almost 3-year-old daughter. She's out there when we had this past weekend. It was so nice out. So I brought the boards out and she's out there trying to play with me and stuff. So,
She good?
I mean, for a 3-year-old, I mean, the 14-month-old, I think she cheats a little bit. She'll crawl on the board to put it in, and throw it in the hole.
Sure.
So
Well,
it gets
that's
in
what
the
I
hole, I
would
guess,
do
every
too.
time. Just
It's kind of fun. And
Yeah.
there is a technique to it and a
There is.
style to it. And I know even in my mom's place where she stays at Williams Place, they have a cornhole team. And those are all people that are, late 80s to 90s. So what great, right, great eye-hand coordination and stimulation for them. So
Something to
yay.
look forward to.
Something more
Not
Set a shuffleboard now. You got the cornhole boards out there.
Listen, I had to do a speaking engagement today at the Pines. That was like its own city. I mean, they have a pool and a hair salon and a this and a that. And I thought, sign me up. You never have to leave again. So anyway, I appreciate that. But yeah, this cornhole is big business. So pay attention. We're going to be thinking about doing something in October, calling it Hops for Hope, and bringing in our friends from our Little Smiles folks that can help put a smile on.
I think that'd be a great idea. Like I said, we'll have the hops with the beer. We'll have some cornhole and maybe even figure out either a food truck or just do some barbecue again or something.
Yeah.
So it'd be a full family day fun. So.
I think it's awesome. You bring in two amazing organizations. I'm a little partial, but you bring in them and their networks, and I think that we're talking about a really great
I do too.
Community Day. So I appreciate you bringing
October's
that to the
perfect
table.
too because it won't be as 100 degrees out as
That's
we usually
right.
do in the summertime too. So
Where does your enthusiasm and your need to give back come from?
just life. I mean, it's something I don't never really I've been asked that to really think about. It's just something I've always just kind of done. I think I don't know. It's just something I feel like you're either born with and you want to be able to help others. It's self-rewarding too to be able to see other people doing well because you can go out there and do it, but what's the fun if you can't share that?
That's right.
There's a certain, you're just a very humble guy. And I think that, that's really when the givers, the real givers in our community, if our folks that really see the need, they understand the need, and then they feel the call to action, right? Because when I always talk about that, when we talk about homelessness, it informs us of two things: what's happening in our community and how we can help. And there are folks that, come alongside of us like you. Same thing in Margi's organization. You when you hear the stories and you feel the heartfeltness of Margi when she talks about her joy with Little Smiles, or when I talk about Hope House, you understand the need to want to give back. It's not about the dollars. It's about how you can contribute to that joy. And I'm grateful for someone like you and yourself that has that enthusiasm and wants to bring that, cornhole tournament. Like, that's awesome. We're already talking about October and how you haven't even recovered from the Lake Norman men that cook. So now here you are talking about another thing. So
just got to be planning in advance. I know I found that out with the daughters, because those will change your days up real quick. I always joke, my daughter will go from laughing to smiling to throwing a tantrum all in 30 seconds. So something like this, if you plan
True
it,
woman.
Yes. So I'm outnumbered. I have the 2 boy dogs, but I have 2 daughters and my wife at the house, so I get outnumbered. I'm sure it's only going to get worse as they get a little bit older. But
maybe your humbleness comes from those fabulous organic eggs that you're eating. There must be some good medicine in them, because it's rare. There's a lot of folks in our community that don't really come from that standpoint. I think the Salzmans are another couple that we know that just have that humbleness about them and that this grace. And I applaud you for that and what you do for our community and your enthusiasm. I know Margi's probably equally as excited about what we can do together. And I think about her little storage being filled up with lots of smiles that
I think it'll be great. I'm sure we'll have like a good day, and the community will come out and really support us. So I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and I love it when Debbie comes over, because I try to throw things at her.
She does.
I don't want that monkey.
She does. We have a giant bear now that is just kind of, they beat him up. They beat up the bear, but you know what? Better the bear than their brother or their sister, or do something destructive. And the little bear is the big bear is very therapeutic for us. So when we come back from break, we are talking with John O'Brien with O'Brien Home Loans, and Margi and I are having a great conversation with him about how you can give back and how you can stay centered in our community in times of solar eclipses, Mercury in retrograde,
and your virus.
And my, did you hear about my virus?
I did not.
I had cicadas disease,
but
I recovered.
What that is?
Cicadas.
She's sick of this and she's sick of that.
Oh, gotcha.
But I recovered nicely. And so
like it.
I know I'm better. So again, when we come back, we're talking with John O'Brien.
Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Oh, rain tapering off as we head through the rest of the evening. We'll stay mainly dry, even though it will still be a bit damp and cool with a mostly cloudy sky for the rest of our evening. Overnight low temperatures don't really get all that chilly, comfortably cool as we drop into the mid and upper 50s by early Wednesday morning. A couple of scattered showers could remain for our Wednesday. High temperatures will bump up into the mid-70s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Listen for this sound. During Good Morning LKN and Home Ad, April 15th through 19th, for your chance to win a pair of tickets to Merlefest. Be caller 3 when you hear this sound. And call in for your chance to win tickets to Merlefest.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Friday, come enjoy Birkdale Village's weekly Live Under the Oaks concert series. Musician Joseph Gallo delivers catchy tunes, high vocals, and a driving rhythm to sing and dance along. Bring your lawn chairs and enjoy all Birkdale Village has to offer. Music powered by Waves Entertainment begins at 6 p.m. The Kane Center for the Arts presents music, singing, laughs, and dogs. Thursday, see singer and guitarist Joni Shaw Taylor performing. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show begins at 8 p.m. Friday, 80s music icon John Oates is in concert. Doors open at 7 p.m. with the show beginning at 8 p.m. On Saturday, comedian Jeff Allen delivers laughs twice with shows at 4 p.m. and then again at 8 p.m. Saturday, April 20th, we'll see the Stunt Dog Experience come to Cornelius. This cast of performers and stunt dogs will delight audiences of all ages with high energy excitement from beginning to end. You will witness some of the most incredible stunts and behaviors ever performed by dogs. The experience has amazing tricks, big air stunts, frisbee dogs, athletic feats, and is the most entertaining show of its kind. For more information on these shows and many other programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Merlefest is back April 25th through 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen every morning to Good Morning LKN and follow WSIC News on Instagram for your chance to win tickets. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Community Centered continues now. Here are your hosts, Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, folks. We are talking with John O'Brien with Home Loans, but this whole show has been dedicated to the multifacets of John O'Brien, from chicken farmer to barbecue maker to philanthropic, humble individual. But you also have a job that you, John O'Brien Home Loans. So give us an idea. We were just talking during the break. I say every morning with my husband, we enjoy our coffee together and whatever we're doing, devotion or fellowship, and we go on Zillow and we trade pictures of houses back and forth. And I don't know if it's like a voyeurism or what it is, but it's kind of a fascinating thing for us to see what the market is like out there. What is the market doing?
Market's still crazy. As you know, if you don't know, Charlotte's the fastest growing city. Most people are moving here still, so our infrastructure is just out of control. You probably, every street you see now, you'll see a new house being built or new development, something on every corner, and the road just can't handle it, I feel like, unfortunately. So we were talking about it during break.
Look at what's just happening on Catawba.
Yeah, there's a whole new development going there as well.
Several, yeah.
So, I mean, they can't keep up, and the thing is, the homes are filling up quickly still. I mean, there is such a demand. When rates started going up, people stopped selling their homes, so they're having to resort to new construction. And that's what we're seeing. So we have all these people moving to Charlotte, whether it's to get out of the cold weather of the north or the high cost of like California in the west, or even for some of the insurance reasons, they're leaving Florida now. So Charlotte seems to be just that center point for everybody coming here. And when you have a lot more people, you need a lot more houses. So, I mean, you have communities like Troutman, Kannapolis, that people probably 5 years ago, like, oh, that's too far for me to move. I would
Yeah.
never be able to go. It's an hour and a half drive to the city. But now with people being able to work remote, they're like, nope, no, we'll go way up there because one, it's affordability. Two, it's they can actually find something. So anything around here, you're paying that premium pricing to stay close to the city where people don't need that now.
Hmm.
That's what
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of it, what the industry that I'm in, we are seeing a plethora of evictions. I probably got 15 phone calls today, or excuse me, emails of everyone's reason for homelessness is eviction. So you're starting to see
Mm.
that there's a big push out of housing for some folks
Unfortunately, I'd
as
say
well.
that's probably with the inflation. I mean, I
Hmm.
talked to many people and just going to the grocery store now, it was literally on the news. They showed what you could buy in 2019 with like $100 and what that same bill would be to now.
I
And
know.
it was like 30, $40 or percent more.
Can we talk? I was starving before the show, so I had to run through a fast food place, which I never, ever, ever do. I do not eat like that. But I thought I got to grab something quick. So I went to a burger place and I ordered what I thought was something from my childhood. It was going to be a rather large thing. And it didn't even fit in the palm of my hand. And I was like, what happened to the Whopper?
Got
and
whopped.
probably paid 3 times as much back then. But I mean, that is a testimony to what's
I
happening in our
know.
world these
Yeah.
days. And I'm the one that's going through the grocery store at $7.99 for a pound of butter, like crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have to have it. But it does make us more consciously aware of spending and what we're spending our money on. And real estate, I don't know. You tell me. Always used to be a great investment.
It's still a great investment. I mean, when you think about it, and everything's gone up. So we're talking about groceries, but house prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up, but also rent's gone up.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if you're renting, all of that money is paying somebody else's mortgage, and they're likely going to pass those higher rates on to you, anyways, as a landlord or as a tenant. So it's still, if you can get into a home, it still has many benefits. One, you don't have to worry about your payment changing unless your taxes or insurance change.
Hmm.
You build equity in that home because I've just had a client this morning. He was like, well, I had a friend tell me not to buy right now because rates are so high. And why that probably is a lot of people's perception. The reality is, yes, rates are high. And hopefully the Fed still said we're going to drop them 3 times later this year, hopefully. So hopefully that's the case. But when rates go back down, that's just going to bring out more demand, more buyers. And anytime you have more demand, prices are just going to go up. So you may pay a little bit more now in the interest, but ultimately, if you wait till rates go back down, you're going to probably pay tens and thousands of dollars or more for the house. So, and you can always refinance. There's a saying that we have, and it's
Yeah, that's
date
true.
the rate, marry the home. So, and it's probably very true right now.
I'm going to tell you what high interest rate is. When my husband and I bought our first home, it was 19%
Yep.
interest rate. That is a high interest rate. When these interest rates started in the last few years dropping, and then they got down to like pre-COVID where they were
Yeah.
really, really low, I was like, whoa, that is incredible compared to what we were paying. So when people talk about high interest rates now, I'm still thinking back
And
100 years
that's
ago when we
you hear
bought
that
our
a
home.
lot, that
Yeah.
conception, and that's where it's just obviously it's not just the rates. It's, if it was just rates on homes, that'd be one thing, but it's the cost of everything else that goes into it. So when you're paying 25-30% more in your mortgage, and then also paying the same thing for your groceries, your car, and everything else, that's where people are struggling right now.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, like you said, it probably is leading to those evictions. We still see some jobs doing very well, but then we still see a lot of people laying off as well too. Some of the bigger corporations that we've heard and stuff, some of the industries. And I don't know what the rest of the year predicts, but hopefully, like I said, I think homeownership to me is still the number one way to build equity in your home. So I look at that as you look at anybody that bought a home in the last 10 years, if they are still in that home, they probably made 5 times what they bought it for at this point, or could go out and sell it when they retire or whatever. So
It's interesting. It's interesting what your industry goes through. It's not just as simple as, hey, let's go out and buy a house. There's so many factors that you have to take into consideration. I know one of the things we teach at Hope House is that you can begin to dream and be a home buyer if you have all of the right, tools in and resources in your hands. And that's something that folks never allowed themselves the ability to dream about before. So now we're building programming around that, about what it looks like to dream to be a homeowner. And Margie, I know you've downsized. You're now in a smaller space in Birkdale, but back in the day, right? We had these big homes
Oh
and
my
we had
gosh. Yeah.
big interest rates and big mortgages. And now as we age, right? I'm sure you see that with some of these communities that are coming
Yeah.
together for the 55 and over. what that looks like. There's probably a jump or a rise in that as well.
Yeah, and you also, and I don't even know if you've known, but a lot of these new constructions, speaking of those, they build these neighborhoods just for rentals. So they partner with some of the bigger rental companies across the country, and they'll design a whole 300 home neighborhood, and they're literally just for renting.
Really?
So
did not know
that's a
that. Did you
new
know that?
a new
Yeah, I
thing that's
didn't.
happening around
Okay.
too, because it's just whether it's
Well,
people can't
anybody
buy
who's
because they don't
living
know that they can buy. That's
in a
another thing
yeah,
is there's big misconceptions about people still think you need to have 20% or hundreds of thousands of dollars for a down payment, when reality is there's programs where you can get assistance for down payment, or depending on where you can purchase, like a USDA loan, you don't have to put anything down. Or if you're a veteran, that's one of the best benefits of a veteran is they don't have to put anything down either on their home loan. So there are a lot of benefits, and that's something I'm actually building right now, is actually a webinar where I can start hosting once a month for home buyers. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a 10-time home buyer, things have changed, and you need to know all your options.
that's right.
Keeping up with
So,
it. John, interesting conversation. How do people get in touch with you?
yeah, the best way, you can either call me on my cell. I'm always available at 704-618-0979. Ultimately, my website is going to be the best way. It has all of my contact information, and that's just o'brienhomeloans.com, and that's OBRIEN homeloans.com. So I have to make sure everybody knows it's an EN, because I always get that as an AN or EN. So an
Yes,
O'Brien,
yes.
but
Say that
yeah,
phone number again for us.
yeah, it's 704-618-0979.
Okay, that's John O'Brien, and I'm sure he would be happy to answer any of your questions
Absolutely.
regarding home buying, home loans, mortgages, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
I know that he's offered his services at Hope House to some of the women there that are getting home ready, that we like to call it. So we're, again, just grateful for what you contribute to our community, even that you're a world of knowledge. And I think webinars to keep up with what's
Yes.
happening
Yeah.
is a great idea. And this is the world that you live in now, in your age bracket. And I think that that's a wonderful way to teach
Yeah.
and to make a contribution, because it is complicated.
It's very complicated.
And like I said, I'd love to do them in person, but ultimately everybody's got so much going on in their lives now. So just driving out and meeting sometimes, they just don't have time. So if
Yeah.
you do it on a webinar, I feel like they can just come home, and I want to do it like in the evenings when everybody settles down. Ultimately, when my kids go to sleep as well, so I can actually don't have to worry about kids screaming in the
Yeah.
background and stuff. So
And birds
that'll
singing.
be there you go. But yeah, I think that's just, I want to be able to help people and educate people. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you have to use me, because I might tell you there's something I can't do. I am a wholesale broker, so we work with 20 plus lenders and have thousands of products, but I don't have everything, and everybody's situation might be different.
So speaking of technology, do you know that the WSIC News app is available, that you can download it on your iOS or Google Play? There is an app, Margie,
Oh,
for this wonderful WSIC News that we are here at. And so if folks want to know more about that, they can always call Bill, or just download the app and get caught up on all of your information, local and live, as it happens.
Absolutely. Technology,
cool.
all
Yes.
the apps you have to
Yeah.
figure out, go through your phone.
It's a little bit terrifying keeping up every day, learning about all of these different apps and things. Like you just told me about the Daddy-O app for
Oh.
the to-be dads that can find out about their babies. I'm fascinated by this world. It's incredible to me. How did we survive, Margie?
I don't know.
I don't know how we did without an app before.
Well,
but
my wife had one, so I felt like I wanted one when she was pregnant. So
For
it's
real?
called Daddy Up, and it just kind of every
Daddy
week,
Up?
Daddy Up,
Daddy
yep.
Up.
And it acts
Okay.
like you're this like a timberman. And it's like you got to go out and forest for the trees to build the crib, and tells you like what things to
my
start doing as
gosh.
the baby's getting ready to
Lord
come.
have mercy.
I
Build a
know.
crib with an axe. That's awesome. Well, you are a Renaissance man, John O'Brien, for sure.
Keep you surprising, that's for
Yes,
sure.
building cribs with an axe and making chickens happen. That's crazy. But we're grateful you were here
Thank you.
today with us. If you, again, want to reach out to John O'Brien, it's O'Brien.
Homeloans.com.
There you go. And if you, again, like Margie said, have an idea for a show, you can call us 844-STUDIO-4 and let us know what you want to hear about here on Community Centered, where we are making hope happen with a smile.
Absolutely.
And we wish everyone a great rest of their week in this
Thank you.
rainy week forecast ahead. Thanks,
you for having
everybody,
me.
and we'll see you next week.